We've taken a look at the Craft to Glory objectives, and now today we are going to be looking at the Premier League Team of the Season, Ollie Watkins. An 89 rated Team of the Season Watkins looks absolutely brilliant, well deserved as well. Maybe not the fastest of starts to the season, but since Emery came in, this man has been balling, and he has been rewarded with a beautiful card. 4-star skills with a 5-star weak foot. He's 5'11", high work rate. He's got some respectable dribbling. I mean, a brilliant agility there. 99 sprint speed, 85 acceleration, incredible shooting, 99 stamina, 93 strength, 98 hitting. Sadly, no traits per se, but this card looks brilliant, man. I mean, even his passing, he's got 86 short passing, which is nice, and for the fact that you can do these in squad battles, rivals, or FUT champs is absolutely amazing. Today, we're going to go over these objectives, giving you guys my tips and tricks, and try or how you can complete this, or try to complete this in the most efficient way possible. And the reason I say try is obviously if you do decide to do it in rivals or FUT champs, then it just simply comes down to your skill level. It's going to be skill-based matchmaking and that, etc. But what we're going to base this video in is going to be squad battles on semi-pro, because that is the easiest thing to do. All right, without further ado, lads, let's get into it. So first of all, you've got to score 7 goals using players from the Premier League in squad battles on at least semi-pro difficulty or rivals and FUT champs. And that obviously does mean playoffs or FUT champs finals as well. Now, if you've already got a Premier League striker or Premier League attackers, then you could simply do this in rivals or FUT champs, because it's not in separate matches. Just got to score 7 goals using Prem players. I mean, and if you're just playing FUT champs naturally and your main goal threat is going to be Premier League players / a Premier League player, you don't really have to change anything. That's made your job ridiculously easy, hasn't it? You've also got score and assist using attackers with at least 80 shooting in 3 separate squad battles on at least semi-pro or rivals and FUT champs. Now, to add on to this, I mean, honestly, rivals or FUT champs, exact same for goal threat, for 2-in-1 and goal threat, both seem the easiest bet to do if you've already got Premier League attackers or attackers in general, because we score and assist using attackers. All of your attackers should have at least 80 shooting, right? Now, attackers mean striker, centre forward, right wing, left wing. There's no longer a right forward or a left forward, so there's that. Did I say centre forward? I think I said centre forward. But basically, if you have a centre forward and you position him to a cam, he'll no longer be an attacker. He'll now be classified as a midfielder, all right? So you need the position to be on the card. You need that position to be an attacking position, but all of them should have at least 80 shooting. Score and assist as well. It is using attackers, not an attacker. So that means you do not have to say, let's say I've got Jarzinho at right wing. That does not mean I have to score with Jarzinho and then assist with Jarzinho, right? What I can do is I can assist with Jarzinho, who's got at least 80 shooting, and I can score from that assist with my World Cup Ito, who's got at least 80 shooting. And then that will just be, I mean, as it says, 2-in-1. You've just scored with someone with at least 80 shooting and you've just assisted, alright? That's how you can get that one done. Assist 6 goals using English players in squad battles on semi-pro or rivals and FUT champs. And this is why I said at the beginning, you may want to do it in in squad battles instead of rivals and FUT champs, even just if you do it for the English player. Because if you do not have an English player in your squad already, you do not really want to change your team around too much and be trying to force yourself getting some English assists whilst playing in the sweatiest FUT champs weekend league of the year, being Premier League Team of the Season, because you're putting yourself at a little bit of a loss there, if you will. You'd much rather just get that done in squad battles, like the 2-in-1, the goal threat. Sure, if you've got a Prem attackers, you can get that in champs or rivals, but you don't really want to try and get an average English player in your starting 11 and try to force assists, because that will just make your play style weird, therefore resulting in more losses, unless you simply do not care about FUT champs finals, or unless in the small chance you've not qualified yet and you do that in FUT champs playoffs. Score 3 goals from outside the box. Now, this one will be a little bit tricky, but there is really no way around this one. I mean, like, there's nothing I can say like, oh, do this to score outside the box. The only thing I can say is that the Trivela is probably going to be your best shot. Finesse shots aren't great this year, so a Trivela is going to be your best shot. You can Trivela by simply, when shooting, pressing down on left trigger on the controller, just doing that. whilst shooting, I do actually have a an outside the foot shot guide, which will be linked at the end of the video. If you are unsure on how to Trivela at this point of a game, that will be linked at the end of the video when the video and subscribe button does pop up, alright? Now we have got win a squad battle matches on semi-pro or Rivals and FUT Champs, whilst having at least 3 Premier League players in your starting 11. So for the quote-unquote squad builder, all we need is at least 3 Prem players, one of them being English to get assists, and that is legitimately it. Now as you can see, my starting 11, and this was exactly the point I'm coming from, I've got 0 players from the Premier League, right? Therefore, I don't want to really change out 3 Prem players, try to get my English players in to try and force my English assists, my Premier League goals, etc. in FUT Champs, because it's a sweaty FUT Champs. I just want to play with my team, what I'm used to, and not force my gameplay revolving around objectives. But what you'll first of all do is search your club for English Premier League players, and your club may be completely different to mine, but I know I've got quite a few Arsenal players. I'm going to go for Calvin Phillips in the midfielder as my English player. We'll use him as my box-to-box over Marquisio. I still need 2 more Premier League players as well, so I'll go for RK, and screw it, I'll go for David De Gea as well. So get David De Gea in there, get RK in here. Now, as I said, if you've already got maybe an English attacker or English midfielder and 3 Prem players, and like you'd be sorted to do this in Champs or Rivals, but if you're like me and many others and do not have a Premier League team, I wouldn't worry about it too much. So this is how we're looking. We've got the 3 Premier League players. Obviously, your Premier League players may be different to mine. And if you guys are, you know, looking for Prem players, remember we do have to score goals. You're probably going, you need to score 7 Prem goals. I'm going to be giving you guys a squad battles tip where it is so easy to get the Prem goals that I'll definitely be able to do it with even Calvin Phillips, alright? But obviously you could be looking at cheap gold rare Premier League players. I mean, if you want to double up and go for an English gold rare gem, you've got a Callum Wilson for 800 coins, 79 rated. Use him at striker, he'll go towards English assists and also Prem goals, alright? Everyone's club and circumstances will be different. But as I said, we'll be basing this in squad battles because it will be the easiest. I really wouldn't blame you if you were to do this in Rivals or FUT Champs, but the only way I'll do it in Rivals or FUT Champs is if you've already got at least 3 Prem players and you've already got an Englishman in your starting lineup. Now what you want to do is head on over to Squad Battles, and this is the Squad Battles tip. Now as you can see, we get given 4 selections every single time. We've got a couple 89 rated squads with high chemistry here, which you want to avoid, but as you can see, we've got a 62 rated with 4 chemistry and a 66 with 15 chemistry. If we take a look and view this team, I mean, in the most polite way possible, would absolutely better this team on semi-pro. So choose semi-pro, which is the minimum required difficulty, go into that game, and obviously with your 3 Prem players, I've got my English boy. We just want to try and get 7 Premier League goals with Calvin Phillips, and we'll be beating this game, this team 10-15-0, so we can simply just get Calvin Phillips and run the whole pitch, which is why I'm not too bothered with getting an attacker in. Obviously you'll also be wanting to try and get the outside of the box goals whilst you're at it. Can be with anyone, doesn't have to be with a Prem player. Scoring and assisting with players with at least 80 shooting, all whilst obviously having at least 3 Prem players in your squad. Now what is the tip, you may say? As you can see, obviously after you've played that one, you'll want to play this team, keep playing the poor teams. Now as you can see, I will circle it, and it is not an option now, but it will be an option as soon as I play one of these games on semi-pro. It will give me the option to update my opponents. As I said, that option's not there for me now, just because I've not played a game yet. But you can update them by pressing square on PlayStation or X on the Xbox. And after you can use your first one, after you play your first game, you get that option every 10 to 15 minutes. So you can essentially play the worst team of a selection, refresh. Play the worst team of a selection, refresh. That way, you're just breezing through them. Now, for the recap slash outro slash what I would do for the quickest way possible, alright? Now, we head on over to the Watkins here. What I would do is I would go into I'd go into 3 or 4 squad battles games on at least semi-pro, playing the worst team every single time. Alright, that gives you enough games to try and get the outside the boxes, because if you're trying to force outside the box goals in Rivals or FUT Champs, good luck to you. So it might be best if you want to try and get those outside the box goals, and if you're playing those poor teams with the bronze players in net, that will be piss easy. So what I would do is I'll do squad battles for the assist 6 goals using English players. That is if you do not have any English players in your main team anyway. And I'd also use it for the score 3 goals from outside of the box. Obviously, whilst having at least 3 Prem players, let's say you can get 3 outside of the box goals within 2 or 3 matches. That will leave you with 5 or 6 games to win, and you can just have at least 3 Prem players. The score and assist using attackers will come naturally. Obviously, scoring goals with the Prem players you'll probably get done in squad battles as well, which means that you could just go into Rivals and Champs and do the rest that way. But let me know, will you guys be completing? I think this card looks good value for time. Alright, so been your boy Davis, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.